Hello, my friend. Today, I want to tell you a story that begins in a place of silence, a place where one small girl carried a dream so powerful that it would one day touch millions of lives. It is a story of kindness, sacrifice, and a heart that refused to stop giving. This is the inspiring life of Mother Teresa, a woman who turned compassion into a mission and love into a lifelong journey. As you listen, let the rhythm of her story guide you, help you learn English naturally, and inspire you from the inside out. The story begins in the year 1910, in the quiet town of Skopje, in what is now North Macedonia. The girl who would one day be known as Mother Teresa was born with the name Angeze Gongshe Bojakshiu. Her mother called her Gongshe, which means a little flower. And truly, she was like a small flower, gentle, humble, and full of hidden strength. From a young age, she grew up watching her mother open the door to strangers, feed the hungry, and comfort people who felt alone. Those moments stayed deep inside her heart, like seeds waiting to grow. When she was only 8 years old, her life suddenly changed. Her father passed away. The house grew quiet, colder than before, and for a moment, their family felt lost. But little Gangxi watched her mother become even stronger. She watched her pray, she watched her give, and she watched her smile, even when life was difficult. And maybe, just maybe, that is where Gangxi learned her greatest lesson. When life becomes harder, the heart can become softer. As Gangxi grew older, she felt a strange calling inside her. It was not a voice she could hear with her ears. It was more like a gentle push in her heart, telling her to give her life to service. At the age of 18, she made a decision that would change her future forever. She left home, left her family, and joined a religious order. She traveled far away to Ireland and later to India, a country she had only seen on maps. She did not know the culture, the language, or the people she would meet. But she carried a strong belief that love could build bridges across any distance. When she arrived in the city of Calcutta, India, she felt overwhelmed. The air was heavy, the streets were crowded, and everywhere she turned, she saw poverty. Children without shoes, families living on the roadside, people who were sick, hungry, and forgotten. She felt something inside her shift, like a door opening. She felt a pull to help, not from duty, but from pure compassion. It was as if fate had brought her there. For many years, she worked as a teacher at St. Mary's School. She taught geography, history, and English. She taught young girls how to read, how to dream, and how to hope. She was calm, gentle, and patient. Her students loved her because she did not just teach them lessons. She taught them kindness. But even while she taught inside the classroom, her heart kept looking outside the window, toward the slums, toward the streets, toward the people who had no one. Then, in 1946, during a train journey, she felt another calling deep inside her. A calling she described as a call within a call. It was a moment that changed everything. She felt that she was not meant to stay in the school building. She felt she was meant to go into the streets, to live among the poorest people, to touch their hands, to hold their pain, and to serve them with love. It was a brave and terrifying decision because she had no money, no safety, and no guarantees. But she believed that if she followed her heart, the path would appear beneath her feet. So, she stepped out. She wore a simple white sari with a blue border, the outfit that would one day become famous around the world. She began walking through the streets of Calcutta, not as a teacher, not as a missionary, but as a humble servant. She listened to the cries of the sick. She sat beside people who were dying alone. She washed wounds, wiped tears, and held hands that trembled with fear. Every day she returned home exhausted, but filled with the quiet joy of helping someone who had no one else. People noticed her. They watched this small woman walking through the poorest neighborhoods, helping with no expectation of anything in return. Soon, some young women joined her. They believed in her mission. Together, they created a new community, which Mother Teresa named the Missionaries of Charity. Their mission was simple and powerful: to care for the poorest of the poor. And that is exactly what they did. They opened homes for people who were sick, hungry, and alone. They created places where the dying could feel loved in their final moments. They fed children, rescued abandoned babies, and visited families who had lost hope. Mother Teresa became a symbol of compassion, not because she changed the whole world at once, but because she changed one life at a time. But her journey was not a happy story all the time. She faced criticism. Some people questioned her methods. Some disagreed with her beliefs. Some even accused her of doing too much or too little. But she continued. She did not stop. She believed that kindness was not about perfection. It was about intention. She believed that love did not need applause. It simply needed action. And action was something she carried in every step. One day she found a man lying in the street, covered in wounds, ignored by thousands of people passing by. She lifted him gently, carried him back to her shelter, cleaned him, fed him, and gave him dignity. A journalist who watched this said, "I would not do what you do for $1 million." Mother Teresa looked straight into his eyes and replied softly, "Neither would I." This was her truth. She did not help for money. She helped because human beings deserved love. As years passed, her work spread across the world. Homes for the poor were opened in many countries. Volunteers came from everywhere, inspired by her courage and simplicity. She received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, but she walked on stage barefoot, refusing to take any glory for herself. She said, "The world is hungry not only for bread, but for love." And with those few words, she reminded humanity of something we often forget. The greatest gift we can give is kindness. Even when she became older and weaker, she continued working. Some nights, she stayed awake taking care of someone who was suffering. Some mornings, she walked for hours to reach someone who needed help. Her body grew tired, but her heart remained strong. She was like a small candle burning in a dark room, shining even when the wind blew hard. In 1997, after a lifetime of service, Mother Teresa passed away. The world cried. Millions felt like they had lost a guiding light. But in truth, her light did not disappear. It continued glowing in every person she helped, every life she touched, and every heart she inspired. She had shown the world something unforgettable: that one person, even one small person, can change everything with love. Today, her legacy lives on through thousands of missionaries of charity around the world. They continue feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, and lifting up people who feel invisible. They continue the dream she started when she was just a little girl watching her mother feed strangers at the table. A dream of compassion, a dream of service, a dream of endless love. What makes Mother Teresa's story powerful is not the number of awards she received, not the number of homes she built, not the number of countries she traveled to. What makes her story powerful is her heart. A heart that believed no one was too poor to be loved, no one was too sick to be cared for, and no one was too broken to be valued. She taught us that greatness is not always loud or famous. Sometimes, greatness is soft. Sometimes, greatness whispers. Sometimes, greatness looks like a woman kneeling beside someone who has been forgotten by the world. Her life teaches us many things. It teaches us that kindness does not require wealth. It teaches us that courage is not absence of fear. It is choosing to love even when life is difficult. It teaches us that one simple act, a smile, a touch, a few gentle words, can heal someone's heart in ways we may never fully understand. And most of all, her story teaches us that the smallest person can make the biggest difference. My friend, as you finish this story, I want you to remember something important. Learning English is not only about understanding words. It is also about understanding emotions, understanding courage, and understanding the human spirit. Stories like Mother Teresa's remind us why language matters, because language helps us feel, connect, and grow. So let her story stay with you. Let her kindness inspire you. And let her life show you that compassion is a powerful force, one that can change the world, one heart at a time.